Hey, so today we're talking about how do I lose weight and still feel full and satisfied on a whole food plant based diet? Plus, when it comes to organic versus paid marketing, when should I be switching over to paid marketing in my business? And finally, how do I deal with rapid changing identity shifts as an entrepreneur as I'm elevating in business? Those are the listener questions that I'll be answering for you guys today, which I'm super excited about because I specifically asked you guys to ask me anything. And so about a week ago, I sent an email out and I asked you guys to submit questions that you want to answer around health and or business. And you guys did just that. So I'm super excited to answer 3 of those questions today. I feel really good about these questions. I've thought about them. I have some key takeaways. Ironically, I have about five takeaways for each question. So I'm going to breeze through them very quickly. I love this blend of health and business because that's what I do. So welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa Smith, plant-based health and business coach, specializing in taking a plant-based approach to optimizing your health and also specializing in service-based businesses, specifically coaching businesses and helping you guys to elevate those to success. So I'm super excited to be here with you today. Here are my A's to your Q's. We're trying to be cute today, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a business question, then we'll get into the weight loss question, and then we'll end with another business question. So the first question that was submitted to me, I really love this question because it's really around personal development in business. A lot of times when it comes to business, we're asking questions about what to do. But the reason I love this question so much because it's more a question about who do I need to become? Okay, who do I need to become? So the first question says, I'm in this process now where I'm making a lot of major identity shifts and I'm having to learn how to be patient with myself as I become someone I've never been before. She said, I'm working through it with my healing coach, but how do you deal and cope with this rapid change that we experience as we keep reaching new heights as business owners? What a great question. How do you deal and cope with rapid change as we experience and we keep reaching new heights as business owners? So her question is about identity shifts. So here's my 5 A's to your 1 Q. The first is you're 100% right. Especially when you are more of a beginner in business, and I consider myself 9 years in, still a beginner, right? And there's a lot that can happen really quickly as you move from what I talked about last week, being a laborer to a CEO in your business, as you start developing and growing a team in business, as you start getting more sophisticated clients and maybe increasing your suite of offers. A lot of identity shifts typically have to happen, especially in these early stages of business that we are in. And I know this person personally, so I kind of know what stage their business is in. So I'll tell you this, when it comes to dealing with the rapid changes you have to make in your identity as an entrepreneur, here's my 5 answers. Number 1 for me is coaching and community. So I am intentionally in communities where I am with my peers and where I am with coaches who serve as possibility models. So when it comes to shifting identities, sometimes we're in the picture and we're trying to evaluate the picture at the same time. And that can be extremely challenging. So I believe it is extremely beneficial to have a community of peers and coaches who can validate your feelings, who can normalize the speed of evolution for you. Because a lot of times when things are changing in your business quicker than what your identity can keep up with, a lot of limiting beliefs can start creeping in about who you are and what you're capable of. So my first recommendation to you is to make sure you have intentionally implanted yourself in an ecosystem of individuals who can guide you through and validate you as you are shifting identity through the different stages of your growing business. The second thing I have for you is emotional intelligence is really important here. So as you're shifting identities as an entrepreneur in your business, it is very important that you have mastered the art of feeling your feelings without making decisions. So emotional intelligence, the way I define it is the art of feeling your feelings without making decisions in a heightened state of emotion. So like I said, all these identity shifts that you are experiencing are happening very quickly, and they're probably being accompanied by a ton of feelings. It's because it's unfamiliar, it's probably awkward, and most importantly, some imposter syndrome is probably creeping in here. And so I want you to make sure you have mastered your emotional intelligence. Hey, good morning, LaShonda. That's going to be very important. So mastering the art of feeling your feelings, meaning whatever you're feeling as you're being called to hire in your business, allow yourself to feel it. And I specifically did an entire podcast episode about emotional intelligence. It's episode number 45 on the Plant Protocol podcast. And that is where I break down for you the 6 ways I personally have increased my EQ. Emotional intelligence is so important as an entrepreneur because entrepreneurship can truly be an emotional roller coaster. So my second A to your Q is make sure you have mastered your own emotional intelligence so you don't allow your feelings to cause you to make decisions that you would not have necessarily made where you had you been in a more neutral and peace of mind, more neutral state of mind. Okay. So don't allow the imposter syndrome. Don't allow the awkwardness and the unfamiliarity of these identity shifts to cause you to make rash decisions. Okay. The third thing I have for you is, this is a big one, is I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I want you to collect evidence on yourself. So when you have to shift identities really quickly in your business because things are growing and you're just being called to do bigger things, make bigger decisions, right? And those decisions have bigger consequences. A lot of times what happens is imposter syndrome creeps in and you don't know what to believe. Like, am I really capable? When people say good things about me, is it really true? Am I responsible enough? Do I have what it takes? Do I have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to execute on what my business is demanding of me? So a lot of these feelings can creep in. So I want you to do 2 things for this one. I want you to collect the evidence, meaning like gather everything that everybody is saying, because when this person submitted this question to me, she also submitted a screenshot of some like great feedback she had recently got from a client. And she's like, people keep saying these cool things about me and it's causing me to feel a certain way, right? Which is what praise does. Praise sometimes forces you to call into question whether or not what they're saying is true about you. Like, that's what critique does, but that's also what praise does, right? And so she submitted a screenshot of something phenomenal that someone said about her. And she's just like, I keep getting feedback like this. And it's like, it's causing me to really call into question, who I am in this moment in my business. And so I want you to collect more evidence like that. I want you to get even more praise. I want you to gather it up. I want you to house it somewhere. I want you to collect the emails and the feedback and the testimonials and all of these cool things that people are saying about you and the things that you do in your business. And the second thing I want you to do is believe it. So the first thing I want you to do is gather evidence. The second thing I want you to do is believe the evidence. Because here's the thing. If everybody is saying similar things about who you are and the impact you're having on them and their business and their lives, what's the likelihood that they're right? It's pretty high. It's pretty high. And so it's much easier to let the evidence lead because we want to make evidence-based decisions as opposed to allowing your limiting beliefs to creep in here and take over. So I want you to collect the evidence and then I want you to believe it. I'm going to tell you a very short story that most people don't know about me, which is, for many years, I had a personal insecurity about my physical appearance. And so I had insecurities about the way I look, right? But one of the things that started happening a lot in like the last couple of years, and I mean a lot, is I would get compliments all the time about the way I look physically, right? Like, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, I love your smile. Do you model? I get that a lot, randomly, crazy, right? I'll just walk into a room or something. I'll just be walking through a store. And I've had people like who work in the store just stop me like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Like all the time. And so finally, one day, it just clicked. I said, why don't you start believing them and stop believing the limiting belief? Like, all these people can't be wrong. Right. And so I finally started looking in the mirror and believing them instead of believing the small voice in my brain. So I collected the evidence and I still get this, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God. And so I'm like, cognitive dissonance. I'm like, I've been telling myself one story, but all these people are seeing me totally different. I wonder what would happen if I started believing them. Right. And so that will be my third piece of advice to you is collect the evidence and start believing them. Right. And so that would be number 3. Number 4 I have for you is you asked me very specifically, how do you deal and cope with this rapid change that we experience as we keep reaching new heights and as business owners with these major identity shifts? And you said, I'm working with my healing coach. So my 4th piece of advice would be to keep doing what you're doing, which is working with the healing coach. You already have a coach. You have a community of peers, especially with me. I want you to keep working with the coach. You have to do the deep level personal development work privately. But here's the key. Don't stop until all stones are turned. Leave no stone unturned. Like a lot of times we start doing work, but we never like finish the work. Like in every area of our life, like when it comes to our health, when it comes to our finances, when it comes to our spirituality, when it comes to business, like people start, but finishing is like the golden ticket. Like we know finishing is way more valuable than starting, right? And so you're working with the healing coach right now. Don't stop until all stones are turned. Don't stop, because the final piece of advice that I have for you, which is number 5, which kind of piggybacks off of number 4, is what I need you to believe. What I need you to believe is that it's possible for everything to be okay. What I need you to believe is that it's possible for everything to be okay. So what that means is you can get to a place of maintenance in your emotional and mental health and in your personal development, just like you can with physical health. So you know how like when most people start on their health journey, they usually have a specific goal. So let's just take weight loss as an example, because I'm going to be talking about weight loss next, right? And people will start on their journey and they'll do all the work. They'll change their diet, they'll exercise and do everything else that is associated with health and a healthy weight. And then there's a percentage of us that are successful. I lost over 60 pounds. And then once you lose the weight and you reach your health goal, you're now in a maintenance phase where you're no longer working out and eat right to achieve a certain weight. You're working out and eating right to maintain the weight you've achieved. Okay. So we all know and can understand maintenance when it comes to physical health. Like I had an issue. I worked to get rid of the issue. Now I'm working to maintain my results. Okay. Here's what I need you to believe. As an entrepreneur and somebody who is really going through the stages of becoming in your business, I need you to believe that it is possible to reach a maintenance phase in your emotional and mental health, just like it is in your physical health. I need you to believe there is a place where you can get to where you've done all the work. You are whole, you are healthy, and you're no longer actively working on something. Now you're just doing the work to maintain what you've achieved. This is so possible. In our culture, sometimes people tell us stuff like, there's always something, or we're always working on something, or there's always something to be fixed. But you said you're working specifically with a healing coach. I want you to know that healing completely is possible. I want you to know that you don't always have to be working on healing. You can get to the past tense, which is healed. You can get to a place where you are healed, and now you're only working to maintain that healing that you have accomplished. Culture and common rhetoric will lead us to believe that we are always in a state where we're striving to get somewhere. I want you to know that reaching the destination is possible, and then just doing the work to maintain it. That's where my therapist is right now. There was a point where I was going to therapy every week because I was healing. Then I got healed, and now my therapist is just on call. I hit her up. She hit me up a couple months ago, just checking in. You good? And I was like, actually, I do have a couple questions for you. Let's book a session for this Friday. We booked a session for that Friday. I haven't talked to her since. It's been months. I'm just in a maintenance phase now. I'm healed. I'm whole. I feel good. I don't feel like there's anything that's actively impeding my ability to perform in my life and my business. I don't have any past trauma that is threatening my present present happiness, like I'm healed. And I want you to know that healing is possible for you too. I want you to know you can get to a place of maintenance in your your mental and emotional health, just like you do with your physical health. So that's what I need you to believe. Okay, so that was question number 1. Let's get to question number 2. I'm gonna try and answer those in a much shorter time frame. Let's see. Guy said in the chat, what helps us maintaining space? I have a more difficult time maintaining than actual achieving. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what did it for me, Guy. So you're right. Maintenance sometimes can actually be harder than achieving the goal. And because we don't change the target when we have arrived. So once we've achieved the target, a lot of times, like, the air is let out of the balloon, right? Like, what is there left to do? Why would I continue to work this hard? Why would I continue to eat this clean? Why would I continue to show up with as much gusto now that I've achieved the goal? Because we don't create a new target. So for me, for example, let's just use health as we're going into this next question about health. You guys know I'm a whole food plant-based vegan. I've lost over 60 plus pounds being a whole food plant-based vegan. I lost my weight many years ago. Like, I started my weight loss journey in 2012. I had accomplished it by 2013. So today, Guy, like, weight loss is no longer my target. Like, not being a candidate for diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes is no longer my target. Like, I am not worried in the least bit about having a chronic lifestyle disease. I'm not worried in the least bit about being overweight again. Like, those things don't haunt me. They don't scare me. I don't see them as a threat to me based on where I am in my health right now. So why would I continue to eat plants every damn day? Why would I work out 6 days a week as hard as I do today? Like, why would I continue to abstain from sugar? I'm already down. Like, I'm already small. I've lost the weight. I'm super happy in my body. I'm super happy with my health status. Maintaining technically can be harder now because I don't have the target anymore. I've accomplished the goal. It's because I've changed the target. So now I do all the things that I do at the level at which I do them because I've given my health an assignment. So before, the goal was just to get me personally healthy. Now that I'm personally healthy and I'm feel super content and super confident in my ability to maintain what I've achieved, now it's like, if I eat sugar, I'm literally going to lose my memory and compromise the speaking engagement that I have coming up. Like, now if I eat some mess, I know I'm going to be lethargic. I know I'm probably going to trigger some inflammation in my body. And I know that I'm not going to feel good for probably 2 days. So the target is different now. So you have to give, if we're talking about health as an example, you have to give your health a new assignment. Like, the assignment that I initially set out has already been captured. Like, it's good. And so now I have a new threat. And now the new threat is, if I compromise my health by eating sugar or eating some meat or eating some junk that I know is going to make me feel not good, it's going to disrupt my gut health, it's going to cause me to be lethargic, it's going to shoot up my blood sugar, and it's going to make me all hyperactive, and I'm going to crash and be all tired. Like, now I look at my day differently. Now I look at what's at risk. If I do that, what happens if I miss a couple of days of workouts? I know how I'm going to feel. I know the guilt I'm going to feel. And then I know physically I'm not going to feel right. And so now there's a new threat. I'm like, oh, I got to hit this stage next week. I got to wear this little tight dress. I got to talk to these people. They're going to ask me a lot of questions about health or business, and I need my mind to be sharp. So there's a new threat. So you gotta be crystal clear on what the new threat is, so that maintaining becomes just as valuable as achieving. Okay. All right. That's my A to your Q, Guy. Let's get back to the pre-submitted questions. Here's question number 2. We got 3 questions today. Here's question number 2 that was submitted to me. This person is trying to lose weight on a plant-based diet. And she said, I've been plant-based for a couple of months, and my question is about satiety and feeling full. I've tried protocols like the starch solution, where you eat starch like potatoes at every meal to feel full. And I've tried the nutritarian diet, where you avoid snacking altogether. Do you recommend these protocols for beginners? And if not, what advice do you have for people who are plant-based for weight loss and want to feel full but have to watch their calories? I love this question because I'm a plant-based vegan and I've maintained over a 60-pound weight loss using a whole food plant-based diet. So I'm excited about this question. All right. So here we go. I have 5 A's to your 1 Q. Caller. You got to act like you're on the radio. You know what show I love? I love Frasier. It's like one of my favorite shows. I love watching not the new rebooted Frasier, but like the old Frasier. And he's like, hi, caller. Anyway, so I'll be trying to act like a radio host. Anyway, never mind me. Back to the questions, Lisa. Okay, so here's my 5 answers to your 1 Q. How do I feel full and satisfied on a plant-based diet, even though I'm trying to lose weight? Okay, so you mentioned you need to watch your calories. My first response is stop counting calories. Okay, so I'm a whole food plant-based vegan. I've maintained a 60 plus pound weight loss for many years. Like I said, I've lost my weight back in 2013, and I do not count calories. I do not count calories. First of all, it's very, very difficult to count calories on a whole food plant-based diet when you're eating whole food plant-based, because the majority of your food is what? Label free. And so thinking that you can count calories on a plant-based diet when you're super clean is actually more taxing and more exhausting than anything. And so I want you to stop counting calories. Okay. I don't want you to assume that eating less is the goal. I want you to understand that eating clean is the goal. And there's a difference, because you can eat smaller amounts of junk. You can eat smaller amounts of high calorie junk, or you can just eat clean and don't have to worry about counting calories. Okay. So it's super important that you stop counting calories. It is not sustainable and it is not necessary. It's totally possible to eat without doing math. Come on, y'all. No more math. It's totally possible to eat without doing math. You do not have to carry the 1 at every meal. Okay. So I want us to free ourselves from equations and just eat, right? And so you want to eat based on when your hormones, specifically ghrelin, tells us we're hungry. And I want you to stop eating when your hormones, specifically leptin, tells us we're full. So ghrelin and leptin are the hormones that send signals to our brain that says it's either time to eat, it's feeding time, or it's time to stop. Okay. So don't count calories. It's going to be too stressful. And the reason typically we count calories is that's the way we were trained to lose weight, most of us, right? Like fewer calories equals weight loss. That's partially true, but what we need to understand more about that is that the quality of those calories matter. So having a big meal, a big whole food plant-based meal with a bunch of food on a plate, you can have rice, you can have a stir fry, you might have potatoes, and you're like, oh my God, this is too much starch. You like, I'm going to gain weight. That's not true. That's not true. There's nothing wrong with starch. So you mentioned the starch solution where you eat a starch at every meal. I believe you should eat a starch at every meal. Okay, let me break this down for you as quickly as I can. There are 3 macronutrients: proteins, carbs, and fats. When we're trying to lose weight, most of us are deathly afraid of carbs, right? I want you to understand that carbs are 2 things. Carbs are both fiber and starch. Most of the times when we say carbs, we're just talking about starch. So when we say carbs, we're usually just talking about pasta, rice, bread, and potatoes. However, carbs are fruits and vegetables are carbs, the fiber, as well as the starch, the whole grains, the pasta, rice, bread, and potatoes. It is okay to eat starch when you're trying to lose weight. The starch is not the problem. It is the processed versions of those things that becomes the problem, right? So when you're eating the pasta, rice, bread, and potatoes that has been stripped of its fiber, that's when you run the risk of retaining your current weight or gaining more. Okay, so we are not anti-starch. We don't need to count calories. Number 1, write that down for yourself. Number 2, we do not need to get rid of all starch. Starch is what gives you that feeling of satiety that you're seeking, caller. Okay, and so there's nothing wrong with eating starch. So a stuffed sweet potato meal, so delicious. Roast you a sweet potato, slice that bad boy open, put some black beans in there, put some quinoa in there, top it off with your plants, maybe some salsa or a creamy tahini dressing. That you're going to feel full. What about some type of stir fry? Get some brown rice or wild rice. Saute your veg in there, some mushrooms, some pepper, some bok choy, some Brussels sprouts. Like get you a nice, beautiful stir fry, nice and colorful with the rice as the base. One of my favorites is my quinoa tacos. I do the quinoa and then I add like the salsa and all of the seasonings, the cumin and the paprika and the chili powder and nutritional yeast, and I put that in the oven for 20 minutes, and then I make me a taco. I use soft and hard taco shells. I'm not afraid of soft taco shells, okay? So there's nothing wrong with starch. The issue typically is when we're getting starch that's been stripped of its fiber. So the processed grains is the problem. Here's what you want on a weight loss for a plant-based diet. You want to make sure that you are consuming a minimum, somebody put this in the chat, a minimum of 30 grams of fiber a day. A minimum of 30 grams of fiber a day. Because what happens when we eat a lot of processed stripped starch, like French fries, for example, is that it converts to sugar really quickly in our bloodstream. Our pancreas releases insulin, and that's what and insulin is our fat storage hormone. So the more insulin your pancreas has to release to process all of that refined starch, the more likely you are to retain your weight or have difficulty losing weight. So weight loss on a whole food plant-based diet needs to look like high fiber. So we're eating our fruits and our vegetables, and we're eating the grains as close to their original form as possible. There's nothing wrong with potatoes. There's nothing wrong with rice. There's nothing wrong with bread, whole wheat, no added sugar. Okay. So you want to make sure it's high fiber. My next piece of advice to you is, are you whole food plant-based or just vegan? So you told me you've been plant-based for a couple of months and you're having issues with feeling full and feeling satisfied. The other thing I want to submit to you is, remember I told you that we should be listening to those hunger hormones, the ghrelin that tells us we're hungry and our leptin that tells us we're full. That's what you should be using. Those are the signals that you should be using to start and stop eating, not calories. Oh my God, I'm over or under calories, so let me not have another meal today. We shouldn't be starving ourselves. Don't try and eat extremely less and think you're just going to lose all this weight. That can pose a problem as well. But we want to listen to the signals in our body that tells us to start and stop. However, those signals can be compromised and cut off if we're on a junk food vegan diet. Okay. So if you have a lot of, here it comes, somebody already knows what I'm about to say. If you have a lot of SOS in your diet, salt, oil, and sugar, then that can compromise the communication between your hormones in your brain, those signaling hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So the next thing I will submit to you is, make sure your plant-based diet that you're doing for weight loss is absent of all of the salt, oil, and sugar. Specifically, the main two is going to be the oil and the sugar for you. Okay. Oil is a problem because out of our 3 macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats, the oil, you're getting 9 calories per gram. With proteins and carbs, only getting 4 calories per gram. So that means that is a huge, huge amount of added calories that you don't need, even though you think you're eating healthy. So most people, you guys think like, Lisa, what about avocado oil? What about olive oil? What about grapeseed oil? Bro, it's pure fat. Okay. I don't know why we think oil is a health food. It's not. The health food is what the oil came from. Eat the avocado. Okay. Eat the coconut flesh. Eat the nuts. But when you eat the olive, when you eat the olive oil, when you eat the coconut oil, when you eat the avocado oil, all of that fat, it has no nutrients, no fiber, and we're trying to be high fiber. So that causes you to retain weight or significantly prevent your weight loss. Now, let me say this about healthy fats too, though. If you're trying to lose weight, some health foods can slow you down. So when I was trying to lose weight, I think it was the beginning of last year or maybe the end of the year before, I was just trying to lose weight for vanity purposes. I was already at a healthy weight, but I wanted to play around with I wanted to have some fun with my body. And so one of the things I did to expedite my weight loss is I took healthy fats out of my diet. So these are foods that are not bad for you from a disease standpoint, but they can slow down weight loss. So that's like nuts, nut butters, your peanut butter, your almond butter, your cashew butter, your mixed nuts, avocados. Those are high in fat. So I slowed down on those things when I was trying to lose weight, even though they're healthy. You're not slowing down because they cause cancer or disease or heart disease. You're slowing down because they can stall weight loss. Okay. And so slowing down on the healthy fats can help here. I also want you to abstain from refined flours. We talked about those refined grains. I want you to abstain from processed sugar. When I say abstain, that means 0. Let's be clear. I don't do moderation. If somebody is in the middle of trying to achieve a health goal, I do not promote moderation. Somebody put it in the chat. Moderation is a privilege, not a right. Do not think you can moderate all of this junk food if you're in the middle of your weight loss. You got to just let some stuff go until you get this weight off of you. Okay. So the other thing I want you to abstain from, so all refined and processed sugar, natural sugar is okay. Fruit is okay. Y'all need to stop demonizing bananas. Ain't nothing wrong with bananas. Ain't nothing wrong with pineapple. Ain't nothing wrong with mango. Like, just stop it. Okay. That is high fiber. You're chewing the fruit. It's fine. I'm talking about your donuts, your cakes, your cookies. Most importantly, though, so you know the obvious sugar like donuts, cake, cookies, soda, candy. The places where you guys are getting sugar that's really killing you is the places you least suspect. So I need you to start reading the ingredients on your seasonings, on your condiments, on that packaged food you're buying that you think is so healthy. You're not reading labels. It's full of sugar and it's full of oil. That's going to slow you down. So all of this processed junk, we're eating out, we're getting all of this processed junk. And there's nothing wrong with eating out, but you got to eat out clean, right? So all of that is going to slow down your weight loss. And then I will say the final thing I will submit to you, caller, is don't put all the pressure on your diet. So what that means is a whole food plant-based vegan diet is not a panacea. Okay, it is not a panacea, which means it's not going to solve all of your problems. You might be eating a perfectly clean, whole food, plant-based diet, and because you're not losing weight or you're not losing weight as fast as you want, you're thinking it's the diet, and it might not be. So there are several other factors that come into play when it comes to weight and when it comes to weight loss. Exercise, you already know. Make sure it's intentional. Make sure it's frequent. Make sure it's intense. Exercise, make sure it's intentional, make sure it's frequent, make sure there's a level of intensity. Okay. Please do not think you could just walk mildly and moderately and lose your weight. Exercise is just as important as diet. Please, y'all, stop telling people that everything is 80% diet. No, we need to move with intention and we need to move frequently and we need to do it consistently. Okay. All the lees. Okay. Frequently, consistently. Okay. Intensely. Okay. All the lees. Okay. So y'all know exercise and diet. Okay, cool. The other things I need you to consider when it comes to weight loss, and this is the biggest one. These last three are really big, actually. Stress. If your cortisol levels, our stress hormones are elevated, it is going to stall weight loss. So if you have chronic stress in your life, you got to work to get it out. Super important, non-negotiable. Stop thinking I can lose weight. I can eat all these plants. Like, kale is not going to solve the problem of you hating your 9 to 5. It ain't going to do it. Now, kale is powerful. Kale is powerful, but it is not going to solve the fact that you're going somewhere that you hate for 40 hours a week. Kale and spinach combined ain't going to solve the problem that you're in an unhappy relationship. Okay? Listen, kale, quinoa, and spinach combined cannot solve the problem that you are unfulfilled in life. So whatever stressors you have to be fixed because the stress on your body is going to stall weight loss. So if there's stress, I need you to get rid of it. Notice I didn't say what we hear other people say, which is manage it. Chronic stress needs to be eliminated. Acute stress, perfectly fine, normal, life is going life, okay? Chronic stress kills you. Get rid of it. Okay. Final thing, the other two is love and fulfillment. We need to have intimacy and closeness in our life to make sure our body is at a state of homeostasis. So this is all about that balance between your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system. So I need us to understand the power of oxytocin. That is the neurotransmitter, the chemical that is released when we have healthy relationships in our life. Not just intimate, not just romantic, right? But familial, friendship, community relationships. So love heals, okay? And so make sure you hugging somebody, okay? Make sure you have closeness. That helps to bring our body closer to a state of homeostasis, i.e. balance. Also can expedite weight loss. And a final thing is fulfillment. Purpose heals. Call a thing a thing. What I'm doing right now, I come on here every week. I kick it with y'all. I answer questions. I have topics about business. I have topics about health, and I love it. I love what I do. I need you to understand the power of purpose, okay? When you are not fulfilled in life, okay, the feelings and the beliefs that are created from unfulfillment creates emotions that impact your body on a cellular level. Okay. So that's going to halt weight loss. So the things that I need you to consider, in addition to your plant-based diet, in addition to exercise, is I need you to look at your stress levels. I need you to look at the closeness and the quality of your relationships, love. I need you to be honest about fulfillment and purpose in life. And then the last two I would say will be sleep and water. I think Guy beat me to it in the chat. Guy said, I got to get that sleep to help with my cortisol levels. Absolutely. It's super important that we have good sleep hygiene. So if you're not sleeping well, then weight loss is definitely going to be compromised, because we actually lose weight in our sleep, right? We actually lose weight when we exhale that carbon dioxide. And then all of the amazing things that we do during the day are able to synthesize at night during sleep. So healthy sleep is super important. And I don't think I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the things I want you to abstain from in your diet. I talked about refined flour, processed sugar. But the other thing I want you to abstain from in this weight loss time is alcohol. And what made me think about it is alcohol disrupts sleep. Okay, so I want to make sure you're abstaining from alcohol as well. No one glass of wine, no occasional cocktail, abstinence. Okay, so alcohol is going to cause issues as well. So you want to make sure you abstain from that in order to lose the weight, because it also disrupts our sleep patterns. It prevents our brain from converting the short-term data that we collected during the day into long-term memories. So a lot of stuff happens at night when we're sleeping, especially weight loss. And so sleep hygiene is super important. Thank you for that reminder in the chat, Guy. And don't forget about stress. Don't forget about love. Don't forget about fulfillment and purpose. When you do things purposeful in life and you really feel like that you are aligned with your assignment and you're being radically obedient, it heals. Trust me when I tell you, nothing has healed me more than being on the stage. I love what I do. I feel so aligned when I'm with you guys, when I'm teaching, when I'm coaching, when I'm speaking. It is the best I've ever felt. I used to be in love with donuts. Donut to this day cannot match the feeling I have when I'm in my purpose and I'm in my bag. I'm undistracted. I'm in the zone. I'm in flow, whatever language y'all using these days. And it feels amazing and it heals. Nothing tastes and feels as good as me being in my flow. And I need you to have that same thing for yourself. So whatever that is for you, if you have abandoned it, if you have decided that it's not possible, I need you to change your belief. Okay. But fullness on a whole food plant-based diet can be achieved. Starch is safe. You don't have to do a nutritarian diet where you don't snack at all. Snacking is okay as long as it doesn't prevent you from getting a meal with sustenance. You can snack your way to fullness and never really got enough sustenance. So that could be problematic. And so you know you and whether or not you need to stop snacking. Okay. So those are all my A's to your 1Q about weight loss on a plant-based diet. Let's get into the final question. Let's see. We got some in the chat. Guy says, turmeric and ashwagandha ain't going to help. Amen. Listen, kale, spinach, quinoa, turmeric, ginger, ashwagandha, and y'all all-time favorite, sea moss, ain't gonna help if you are chronically stressed and you laying next to every night the person that's stressing you out. You getting up every day to go into the place that's stressing you out. You still ain't repaired the relationship with your sister, your brother, your cousin, your best friend. Like, you got all this toxic stuff that needs work in your life. It's not a supplement. It's not a green powder blend that's going to fix it. And your weight loss will be stalled until you fix it. Every aspect of our life impacts our physical body. It just, everything is connected. Y'all know this holistic, whole body approach. And so what really happens is it causes our nervous system to be activated in a negative way. And so we want to calm the nervous system. When we got stuff that's bugging us and eating away at us and that's constantly on our mind because we haven't done the work of creating an exit strategy, it causes our nervous system to be compromised, which causes our weight to be compromised. Okay. So I want you guys to understand how this stuff is interconnected. Okay. It's very important to understand how it's interconnected. All right. Let's go. Question number 3 about this one is about business. This is our final question for the day. Thank you to everybody who submitted these questions. So LaShonda said, I have to work on purpose. Amen. Carl said, what about testosterone supplements? Carl, what about testosterone supplements? More like specifically, what's your question? It's a hormone that our body naturally creates. I'm not sure what your question is. I'll tell you my general feeling around supplements so you'll know. Supplements should only be used when they have deemed necessary via blood work. So sometimes what we do is we supplement without having evidence that we need the supplement, and that's a problem. Okay, so what we should not be doing is taking supplements when we have no data, like physical data, like charts and blood work and all of that, test results that say that we are low on something, that we need something. So my feeling around testosterone supplements and any supplement is that we should only take it if we have verified data, black and white, that we need it. Some of us are just taking supplements for the hell of it. We're like, oh, a multivitamin every day sounds smart. Why? Why does that sound smart? Why does taking a man-made pill that's not even regulated and you can't even verify what's in it or that it does what it does sound smart? When God already created the original source. Eat the plants. So if you think you need a testosterone supplement, my question back to you will be, says who? Just let's look at the labs. Are you low on that? And even before we take a supplement, even if we have data to prove that we're low on something, the next step shouldn't even be where I should buy this in a pill or powder form. The next step should be, well, where can I get this naturally from the plants that God already created? Or how can I generate it? How can my body generate it? Like, i.e. vitamin D. Okay, sun comes in contact with the skin. Boom, we produce the hormone vitamin D, right? So where does it occur naturally? How can I synthesize it naturally? And or how can I eat it or drink it even before supplementation, unless it's super critically low and you need to supplement to get the levels up really quickly. Okay. All right. Final question. This is a fun one. Can you share your tips? Can you share your tips and any strategy for organic marketing? I'm thinking about doing paid advertising because I've been posting and sharing my voice, my face, and my perspective, but have only gained a handful of followers in the last couple of months. However, I am getting positive feedback from people I already know. I just think I need to reach more people. Okay. Sips tea. Okay, I'm using my professionally fit cup today. This was my company name when I first went into business myself in 2015. We were Professionally Fit Corporate and Organizational Fitness. Yay. Okay, so let's talk about organic marketing versus paid marketing. Okay, here's my 5 A's to your Q, caller. Number one, I said, you don't just want more followers, okay? You want qualified leads. There's a difference. So attracting people that aren't aligned with your messaging or aren't aligned with your goal, which might be to drive more traffic into your business. Maybe you want them to come to an event you're having. Attracting people that aren't aligned with your messaging is not the goal. So be careful with succumbing to vanity metrics, okay? So be careful. What that means is be careful with wanting to see the numbers going up without doing your due diligence to ensure that the numbers are going up without them being qualified leads. So here's an example, right? You know how somebody can make a really funny post, like a reel or a meme that's just like universally hilarious. And so it might come up on your Discover page. Let's just talk Instagram for a second. It might come up on your Discover page, or it might you see it somewhere because somebody else shared it or whatever. And it's so funny. So you click on the person that created it or that posted it, and you go to their page and you like, man, this was good. I want to hear more from them. Or, they really got me. I want to hear more. And you follow them. You have no interest in buying what they're selling. You don't even know what they sell. They just captured your attention with some good content. You want to be careful of that. So you want to be careful with attracting people to you that are not your qualified leads. So when it comes to marketing in your business, specifically, it doesn't matter, service-based business, product-based business, but I specialize in service-based business. I own a coaching company, and so we do health coaching, business coaching, and personal development coaching. And so I've done organic marketing throughout the years. I've done paid marketing throughout the years, been in business next year for 10 years. And one of the worst things you can do is do something to quickly increase your followers without making sure that the thing you did articulated to the followers who you are and what you do. So you can see numbers going up without actually seeing any movement towards your goals. Like, oh man, I didn't get more people booking a call with me. I didn't get more sales. I didn't get more attendees for my upcoming event. I didn't get more, you know what I'm saying? And so you don't want more followers. You want more qualified leads. My point of saying that and like digging a hole with this point is that qualified leads typically take a little longer to accumulate. Okay. You can easily get more followers very quickly with just like a accidental viral post, right? Like I've done it plenty of times. I'll make a post and oh, it'll run up the numbers. Like I made a reel literally like a couple days ago, less than a week ago. It got like, when I checked last night, it was like 1,790, so almost 1,800 views really quickly. And of course, I started getting followers from that. But what happens is when the people get over to your page, here's what you want to make sure. When you create content that attracts people, when you intentionally are creating content for new people, and I'll tell you what that means in a minute, but when you intentionally create content to run your numbers up, the most important thing you want to make sure you have done beforehand is created bingeable content in your subject matter. You want the Netflix effect. That means that you want to create content that grabs people's attention really well, and it's so good that they run over to your page to learn more about you. But when they get there, your content is so good that they want to binge. The Netflix effect means that they get to your page and they binge your content. Be careful with attracting people to a dead page or a page where you've been producing low quality content. You've been inconsistent in producing content. I've gotten clients just from having bingeable content. That means I do something phenomenal one time, they discover me, they get over here into my ecosystem, and now they are binging me. Like, man, I click on another reel and she got me again. I like this one too. I mess around and read a few posts, get into the comments. I really like this girl. Oh man, let me go ahead and give her a little more of my attention and look at one of her longer form videos. Now I'm willing to invest more attention into her. So you want to make sure that you're attracting qualified leads, and you do that by, number one, creating bingeable content, really high quality content that's aligned with your subject matter and the action that you want people to take. Okay. So that's the first answer. The second answer is, let's plug this computer up. The second answer is sometimes you change or enhance your messaging and you start appealing to people who are already in your ecosystem. So let's talk about this. A lot of times we want to see our numbers go up, but one of the things that also happened, and this happened to me. So for the first half of my career, I was a health coach, plant-based health coach. I still am, right? So from 2015 through 2020 to the mid 2021, I was strictly a health coach. In 2021, I created the first plant-based coaching certification to be founded by a person of color. And now I'm a business coach and I help people start their own coaching businesses. So from 2015 to 2021, I was just known as a vegan health coach. From 2021 on, when I created a business coaching program, I'm like, okay, I got to switch the content I create because I need people to see me as a business coach now. I need people to see me as an expert, a subject matter expert, and not just plant-based living, but I need them to see me as a subject matter expert in the coaching industry from a business standpoint. So what happened, caller, is that when I started switching my content, because I stopped just creating content around health and I started creating content around business and how to have a successful coaching business and telling people the things I had done in the last 5 years to create a multi-six-figure coaching company. My content changed, which means it woke some people up that were already in my audience. So sometimes we only want to see new people and attract new eyeballs. However, sometimes when your messaging shifts, you get to wake up people that are already there. So I don't want you to believe that the goal is simply to get new people as if the people you already have are dead or useless or whatever. When you have new messaging, you can wake up people that already exist. So that means your follower doesn't go up. But how do I track whether or not I'm waking people up that are already in my ecosystem? The very specific metrics that you look at for this, and instead of looking for increased followers, is you look at increased engagement. So are you getting more likes, comments, and shares? Are you getting more DMs? Are people clicking the link in your bio more? And you can track all of these metrics. The person that submitted this question, I know specifically that they're on Instagram. So you can see all of these metrics on IG. So don't just look at, are my followers going up? That's not the only metrics you should be looking at on whether or not your content is landing. You might be just waking up people who are already there and now you're finally talking to them. So before, when I was just talking health, some people in my audience were interested, some weren't. some were already plant-based vegan and they were like, I already got this. But when I started talking business and they were interested in entrepreneurship, they're already entrepreneurs. They want to become coaches. I woke them up with that content. And so engagement started increasing. Does that make sense? So make sure you're reading all your metrics and not just looking at a follower increase. My next answer to you would be, make sure you're creating really good content. I talked about this a little bit, but if you're considering paid marketing, you don't want to put money behind crappy content. So you want to validate your messaging before you pour gasoline on it. Okay. So you want to validate your messaging by really looking at the metrics of everything that you post and seeing what people like. So how many people really share these type of videos when I do this. People really comment when I do this. They're like, people tend to love when I share what I'm eating on a plant-based diet or how I live my personal lifestyle. Let me create more content like that and test that out and see if it starts drawing more and getting just as much engagement. So create really good content. Some of us are really lazy with our creation, right? We're really surface level. We're playing it safe. We're afraid to exclude people. We're afraid to have polarizing content. But the most attractive content is polarizing. The most attractive content is usually controversial, right? Like, I believe in a whole food, plant-based vegan approach to health. I believe that I denounce everything in moderation. So there's things that I say that people are vehemently against. And I'm not doing it to be an antagonist. I do it because I really believe in it. And I'm leaning into what I believe. Sometimes you guys are creating content and you're staying safe. You're like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want anybody trolling me. I don't want anybody to disagree with me. And I'm like, why not? Is this what you believe? Yes, then say what you believe. So make sure your content is original and authentic. Is what you truly believe. And make sure you're not just regurgitating what other people in your subject matter are saying. Like, I'm not just coming on making content about 6 ways to get protein from plants on a plant-based diet. Like, y'all don't need to hear that again. And I'm not about to say it again. I done told y'all you can get protein from plants. Now we're about to talk about something else. So I'm not going to regurgitate the same things that everybody else are saying, but I'm going deeper with this thing, right? I talk about radical obedience on my channel. So what do you truly believe? And are you showing up authentically in that way? It's going to be really important. So make sure you're creating really good content, because again, when you do attract these new people, you want them to come over there and you want that Netflix effect. You want them binging your stuff. You want them not to be able to take their eyes off you. You want them coming back to your page regularly to see what you done said now, because you're positioning yourself as credible and you're positioning yourself as an authority figure in your specialty. Okay. So super important. Two more things. I said, do some testing before assuming it's not working. So before you move away from organic marketing and decide to do paid marketing, there's a couple things I want you to try. So here's some testing that you can do. I have about 4 things here. Number 1, frequency. My numbers started going up, engagement, followers started going up for me when I increased my frequency of posting. So I post every day now, sometimes twice. Okay. So try increasing the frequency of your posting. Posting daily worked for me. The second thing I want you to test out before you do paid marketing is the types of content you are creating. So for me, for example, I noticed in the last several months that mindset content gets more engagement than anything else. So now, at least once a week, more often than not, I do a still post or I do a reel about mindset, around what people are thinking, about how I need them to think in order to achieve their goals, right? About beliefs about themselves, right? So I'm not doing how-to content like, here's how to get clients as a coach, right? Here's how to charge high ticket in your coaching business, right? That's how-to content, but really speak to what people believe and what they're thinking. Mindset content has been working personally for me in my industry. So I want you to try different types of content. Make sure you're not just doing how-to content. Do mindset content. And the other thing that gets a lot of engagement for me personally right now in this season is lifestyle content. So when I show you guys where I'm traveling to, when I show you guys I dined out, here's what I got. When I show different parts of my life and how I'm thinking, people love lifestyle content because people are nosy. Okay. It is what it is. So they want to get to know you. As much as you want them to get to know what you do, they want to get to know you. So lifestyle content hits as well. You can still retain your privacy. Like, I'm a super private person. So on my page, I'm going to let y'all into my life with limits. So y'all ain't gonna never know when I'm driving. Y'all ain't gonna never know who I'm dating. Y'all ain't gonna it's some things that are just sacred to me. And so you don't have to share. You can still be a private person and share lifestyle content. But I was just in Cali for a couple weeks and I showed you guys, this where I was in the water and blah, 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 and told you guys what I was doing. People love that stuff. Okay. So try different types of content, mindset, lifestyle, in addition to your subject matter. The next thing I want you to test is your captions. This is very important. Before you decide that your organic marketing is not working, I need you to make sure you're writing really good captions, because when you create content, the majority of it is going to be viewed as a replay. Most people are not going to see you live. Like I have, it's 11 of y'all watching right now, but more people are going to see this video as a replay, correct? So it's very important that the caption is really good, because people are not going to click on your video or your reel or whatever it is if you don't say something enticing in the caption to make them feel like this is something they need to hear. Okay. And so make sure after you post, this is specifically for videos and reels, make sure you are taking time to write good captions. Leave a little mystery in there. These is the 3 things that you might say something like, these are the 3 biggest benefits I've experienced since becoming a plant-based vegan. Number 2 was wild. Everybody gonna be like, what was number 2? You know what I'm saying? And so are your captions good, right? So make sure you're writing good captions and taking time with that. And know that captions can be edited. So maybe you did a fire video or fire piece of content 2 weeks ago. That's not dead content. You can go back today and edit the caption. So go back and edit it. Like, make sure you are writing really good captions, because the overwhelming majority of your views are gonna come from replays, okay? The next thing I want you to test is length. Okay, now this is specifically for videos. There are 2 types of content. There's short form and there's long form content when it comes to video. What I'm doing right now on YouTube, I've been on here for 55 minutes. My apologies, but this is a long form piece of content. Clearly, the people who are going to watch this are typically already invested in me, right? These are people who are already in my audience. So I want you to understand how to use long form and short form content. Short form content is to attract brand new people to you. That's like a viral reel that I talked about earlier that gets a whole bunch of new people over to your page because you said something really enticing and electrifying. Okay. So short form content, we use that to attract new people to our ecosystem. Long form content, we use to nurture people that are already in our ecosystem. It is important to do both. I'm so sick of people telling me people have short attention spans. Everything has to be 30 seconds. No, it does not. No, it does not have to. Everything does not have to be 1 second to be attractive. Okay. Short form content is great for attracting new. Long form is for nurturing people who already exist. There becomes a point where you are no longer as valuable to new people because you're not going in depth. You're going wide, but you're not going deep. So you need to do long form as much as you need to do short form. You don't have to do long form as often. I do long form once a week, every Monday, 10 a.m. EST, right here on YouTube. I do short form way more frequently. So make sure you're playing between long form and short form content. The last 2 things I want to tell you is the next thing I want you to test out is live versus pre-recorded. This is for videos again. Some people, when they're new to doing videos or they have these insecurities, they only want to do pre-recorded content. So that means you record your video privately and then you upload it. Nothing beats live. Nothing beats live. So if you're having insecurities or apprehension about just going live, I need you to get over it. Okay, I need you to do the personal development work, do the private personal development work so you can show up differently publicly. Okay. And so you want to do live. I want you to test out. If you've only been doing pre-recording and uploading, I want you to test out going live. Talk to nobody. It's okay because of what I just said, which is most of your views are going to come from replays. So don't think because nobody's on while you're doing it, nobody's going to see it. That's not what that means. That means you just don't have following yet. You got to work your way up to having viewers. Okay. Do live, do pre-recorded. They are both effective. I'm not a big fan of pre-recorded. I personally don't do pre-recorded at all, like at all. Y'all gonna watch me fumble over these words and lose my place in real time. Y'all gonna watch me have tech issues in real time. I'm not doing pre-recorded because I'll tell you why. Because pre-recorded brings too much pressure to be perfect. So if you're pre-recording a video to upload, usually you're going to stop and start it a million times because you're like, oh, I said that wrong. Oh, I messed up on that word. Oh, that pause was too long. oh my God, what's this in my background that I didn't see? Who has the time? I don't. I'm running a whole business. Like, this is too much. So pre-recorded brings too much pressure to be perfect. That's my view on pre-recorded. And so I highly recommend doing live. So do live videos, go live, be imperfect in real time. People love that ish. Okay. And the final thing I want you to test out before deciding whether or not to do pay advertising is ask and tell. Ask and tell. So not show and tell, ask and tell. Two things. Number one, to ensure that you're creating good content, I want you to simply ask people what they want. That's exactly what this entire live is about. I sent you guys out an email and was like, ask me anything. And you guys asked me anything. And here I am answering anything, right? So ask and tell. Instead of guessing what people want to hear, ask them what they want to hear. Hey guys, I'm plant-based vegan. Now this person who submitted this question, she specifically specializes in ethical veganism. So what do you guys do? A poll, send out a poll. Like, what do you guys want to know about my lifestyle? Like what? And they're going to come back and say stuff that you probably would have never thought about talking about. Like, y'all want to know that. Right. But yeah, so ask and tell. So ask them what they want to hear versus assuming. Okay. And then come on here and tell them. Right now, I think it's ironic. We're new to YouTube. I'm used to having more viewers on Facebook and Instagram, but we're new to YouTube. I don't think it's a coincidence that this video I'm doing right now, we've had the highest amount. We were up to 15 viewers at one time. The highest amount of live viewers I've had since being on YouTube for a couple of weeks is when I'm answering listener questions because I'm telling them what they already wanted to hear. Right? Okay. So use me in real time and borrow my belief. So ask them. Now tell. So ask them what they want to hear. And the final part, tell them what to do. Okay. So ask them what they want and give it to them. And then tell them what to do. Meaning, what do you like? What's the CTA? What's the call to action? Now, the person who submitted this question, she's in my ecosystem pretty closely. So she knows this rule, which is you want to always have a call to action. What action do you want your audience to take as a result of them consuming this content? Okay. So ask them what they want to hear and then tell them what to do. Very important. You have to be very specific and direct with people. Okay. Don't be ashamed of pitching your offer. If you want them to click the link to book a call with you because you're currently enrolling or selling something, say that. If you simply want them to share it, say that. If you simply want them to subscribe, say that. That's what I'm about to tell y'all to do. Okay. So it's okay. Ask what they want and give it to them and tell them what to do. Okay. And because people are happy to oblige. When you have really good content, you know what you're talking about. People are happy to repay you with a small like, a love, a follow, a comment. All right. So stop being ashamed to ask for what you want from your audience. Okay. If you want them to buy something, tell them because you're probably selling it with integrity because you really feel like you can help people. Don't be ashamed to pitch your offer. So tell people what to do. You might not even need a whole bunch of new followers. You probably just haven't told the followers you already got to buy your stuff. Okay. So ask and tell. All right. So those are my A's to y'all Q's. I appreciate y'all so much. Let me see. Rochelle just said, hey, Rochelle. She said, good morning. How do you get enough B12 naturally? All right. Listen, while I answer Rochelle's question, if anybody else here has questions about living a plant-based lifestyle or running a successful coaching business or just a business in general, drop them in the chat. I'm here for the questions. So let me answer Rochelle's question. This is a great question. She said, how do you get enough B12 naturally? Okay, let's be clear about B12. B12 is a microorganism that lives in the soil. So it doesn't come from a plant, nor does it come from an animal. Okay. But however, it is one of the things that you typically have to supplement on a plant-based diet because it doesn't come from a plant. Usually when we eat the animals, we're eating the middleman, right? And so this microorganism that lives in the soil, we eat the animals and they become the source of the B12. But the animal does not make it, just like the plant does not make it. Okay. So when you say naturally, Rochelle, I'll tell you, typically this is going to come from like your sea vegetables. And then you can also use stuff like spirulina. That's what I use. Spirulina, you can get it, or some other type of bioaquatic source. Okay. So now a lot of foods that are healthy are fortified with B12. So fortified means it was added, right? So things like nutritional yeast is fortified with B12. You can get like some plant milks that are fortified with B12. So that's a more natural way versus taking a supplement or an injection or a peel or a liquid. Okay, so you can get it from plant-based foods that have been fortified with B12. You can use some type of like sea vegetable and get it as well. And it's fairly easy to get. Now, I will say this about B12 as well, which is our body stores B12 for up to a year. So if you're new to a plant-based lifestyle, and knowing that you can't get B12 from a plant, it's not necessary to run out and get B12. Like, this is why I was telling Carl earlier, like, it's so important to get blood work done to know exactly what you need. Because even though things are generally right, like we can't get B12 from a plant-based diet, it doesn't mean you're all of a sudden deficient on day one. Does that make sense? So I want to make sure you guys understand, like, your body stores a lot of the sustenance that you need for a while. Like, if you don't eat, I don't know, let's make up something. I don't know, vitamin C for 3 days. It doesn't mean you're all of a sudden deficient in vitamin C on day 4. Okay. Our body stores these things for a varied amount of time. So the best way to know whether or not you need a supplement is to make sure that you are getting blood work done to verify it, to make sure your levels are still optimal. Like, I get my blood work done every year. I don't take a B12 supplement. I get it naturally through food and fortified foods. And my B12 was perfectly fine. Okay. So everything does not require a supplement. Okay. Okay. Rochelle also said, I know you advocate no sugar in the diet. However, if you drink juice from concentrate, does the concentrate have added sugar? Stop drinking juice, Rochelle. What's your health goals? I need to talk to you directly. Stop trying to find a way to get this juice in. No. Okay. So, listen, let me break down juice. Okay. Juice from concentrate, fresh pressed juice. Here's the issue with juice. Okay. Juice has no fiber, 0. So I don't care how clean it is. I don't care if you squoze it yourself. I don't care if you bought the best juicer. Juice has no fiber. Okay. So here's the issue with juice. The issue with juice is, no matter how clean it is, meaning no added sugar, it's still going to run up your blood sugar because it's absent of fiber. So the best solution, if you want juice, is to eat an orange, eat an apple, eat a pear, eat a grapefruit. Chew the fruit that the juice comes from, because when you chew the flesh, you're getting the fiber, and that's what's going to prevent that spike in your blood sugar. So I am an advocate for no sugar, Rochelle. You are correct. And that includes concentrated sugar, because the fruit, even though it's coming from the fruit, that is a concentrated form of sugar that we are ingesting, because we've literally squeezed the juice out of the fruit and thrown away the flesh. We squeeze out the juice, we threw away the fiber. That's problematic. Okay. So we don't want that spike in our blood sugar. And we want to make sure that we're getting a high fiber diet. Pop quiz. How many grams of fiber should we be eating per day? Somebody drop it in the chat. Let's see. Guy said, how do I find a coach to help me with fitness training goals? I want to really push myself, fitness on a plant-based diet, and this time around, and I know I need a coach, especially with my diet. Oh, Kiwi, drop your link in the chat. Coach Kiwi is a plant-based fitness coach. You know Kiwi very well, Guy. She is our in-house vegan fitness coach. So you want to, number one, make sure you get a coach and a trainer who aligns with your values and your beliefs around your dietary preferences. One of the worst things you can do is be living a plant-based lifestyle and you get a trainer who tells you got to eat meat for protein. It is the worst experience. They start implanting doubt in your mind. Will I really be able to achieve my health goals and I don't eat chicken? Yes, you can achieve your health goals if you don't eat chicken. Okay. It's crazy to think, meat is the only way. So get a coach, first and foremost, that aligns with your plant-based diet, preferably practice it herself, which Coach Kiwi does. So that's who I would recommend, is Coach Kiwi, and book a session with her. She does virtual group training. She does virtual personal training, and she is plant-based herself. And so that will be where I would start. You guys got it. 30 grams of fiber a day. Very good. Any more questions? I don't see any more. Oh, wait. Oh, Guy just said about vitamin D. I found out I was vitamin D deficient, even though I spent ample time outside. Yeah. And I was vitamin D deficient because I have a sun allergy specifically. So I have to stay out of the sun, specifically during the hours of 10 and 2 when the UV rays are the highest. So I have a vitamin D deficiency as well. And so I actually take a vitamin D supplement based on the necessity of my blood work, right? Not just based on me thinking I should take it. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you everyone for all the great comments. Thank you for staying on, for all of you who for as long as you did. Those are my A's to your Q's. Great questions. And I'm going to drop my link. If you have a question that you want me to answer, I'm going to drop my link for you guys to leave me a voice question in the caption here, so you guys can submit a question for me to answer on an upcoming live. Travis said, how are our legs connected to our brain? You mentioned this before. Working our legs increases our brain function 100%. And so I've done a lot of studying of the brain in the last couple of years, specifically around like dementia and Alzheimer's. And one of the things that has been proven over and over again, and that is highly recommended for us to improve our neurological functioning, our memory, our recall, our ability to concentrate, is making sure we have good leg strength. So it's super important that you guys are working legs. I personally work them multiple days a week because it is like, first of all, beautiful legs are God's gift, right? I love nice legs on men or women. Like I stare with my tongue hanging out. Like I love nice legs, right? And so beautiful legs are super dope just from an aesthetic standpoint. But from a brain standpoint, healthy legs really ensures a healthy mind. Okay. So, cause y'all know why I love legs so much. Y'all don't even ask for this. I love legs so much because you have to work them to have them. Like you have to if somebody's hamstrings are popping, I'm like, oh, they put in work. You know what I'm saying? Like arms, and you can do some work and you can pretty much maintain them without working them for a while. But legs, like you have to activate those muscles regularly. And I just think it's super dope when somebody puts that. Like I look at legs to tell if somebody is fit. Like I think it's so amazing. So nice legs are a great way to increase your brain functioning and capacity, but to also be attractive in general. Key said, never miss leg day. Indeed. So guess what I'm talking about next week, y'all. So here's what I need y'all to do. Two things. The first is, if you have not already, if you got some value out of today about me answering these listener questions, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be going live every single week here on my YouTube channel, 10 a.m. EST, with these really good, juicy topics to make sure that you guys are being fulfilled health-wise and business-wise. And I already have my topic for next Monday. The second thing I need you to do is make sure you are subscribed, because you're going to get the reminder or set a reminder for next Monday at 10 a.m. So next Monday, I'm talking about the one belief that changed everything for me and my business. And this specifically has to do with the lack versus an abundance mindset. So if you are feeling feeling lack in your business, feeling lack in your personal life, I need you to be on my live next Monday. Because the only thing you truly lack is an abundance mindset. That's really the truth. So I'm going to tell you the one belief that shifted everything for me in my business when it came to thinking in lack versus thinking in abundance. And so I'm going to break that down for you guys next Monday, 10 a.m. EST. We'll be back here. We'll make sure you guys have the link to submit questions going forward. I don't know if I can what happens if I hop off of, I don't know if I can hop off of YouTube. I want to drop this link for them now, Key. I don't know how to do it. Oh, no. I will have to go into my email. Let me see if I can find it and give you guys this link to submit questions, because you guys can submit audio questions, and that way it'll be easier for you and easier for me. I much prefer audio versus written. So I'll have to find the link. I can't grab it right now, but I'll find it for you guys, and we'll put it in the caption here, and you guys can use that link to submit me audio questions, and then I listen, and then I come on and I answer. I think through it. I write my notes. I get all deep, like, ooh. That's how it happens. Ooh. And then I'll answer your questions. Okay. So that is it. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing hour and 13 minutes. I am going to take the rest of the day off. Yes, Key, I'll send you the link that we can use going forward for people to submit questions. You guys have a phenomenal day. Bye, y'all.